From WLWT, this is Issues.
Hello, everyone. I'm Curtis Fuller, and welcome to Issues. Today, we have several things we're going to talk about. I want to begin, though, by introducing my guest. He is with the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. His name is Chris Miller. He is the manager of program initiatives. And first of all, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
You know, when I say the Underground Railroad Freedom Center, it's hard to believe celebrating 14 years. I always tell people, I remember when it was just a discussion point about building it, and now it's there, and 14 years later. It's good maybe just to bring people up to date on the state of the Freedom Center, now 14 years. How are things going overall?
We are still working the mission of our Freedom Center, which is to reveal the story of freedom heroes from contemporary times, or I should say from Underground Railroad era to contemporary times, to challenge and inspire everyone to take courageous steps today. We are still working that audacious mission and fulfilling that through various different aspects as far as exhibits and as well as programming.
Mm-hmm. The exhibits, I want to start with one that has gotten a lot of discussion, is the Kinsey.
Yes,
Talk a little bit about that and the response that you received.
Absolutely. It's in the closing days as far as the exhibit run, but it's an outstanding collection, approximately 400 items in the actual collections.
And we should note a private collection, right? It's a private collection, the largest private
Absolutely.
collection.
The Kinsey family out of California, Bernard Kinsey, heavily involved in collecting not only African-American art, but artifacts, and as well as documents. And so it's a wonderful collection with a broad perspective of the African-American experience. And it's very important because it is a part of the American narrative. The documents that you see, the artwork that you see is part of the American narrative. And we definitely want people to come out in the last few days that it is running to get that experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people should know that even though we see the Freedom Center as a local venue, you're really competing on the national level. And so even with the opening of the African American Museum in Washington, you got the Civil Rights Museum down in Memphis, and many others, of course. You're competing with them as well as all the local venues.
Well, I wouldn't say compete. We are working together.
Okay.
Definitely it's a collaboration between our respective museums, and we are the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center, and so we do have a national scope and presence. I've been fortunate enough since I've been there for so long, to actually see that at work when we go to conferences and conventions and so forth, of people from outside of the greater Cincinnati area that have visited the Freedom Center, actually tell us how wonderful their experience was in visiting us. And I've seen people from all over the world, actually. The argument could be made that it's more of international as well, with some of the issues abroad that we raised to light.
Normally when I'm down there doing a story, I will see students come in, and many of these students are, as you mentioned, not from the area. I mean, they're coming from, I think the last time I was down there, I met a group from Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. And so trying to get that student base, not only locally, but throughout the region is still key.
Absolutely. And with technology, there are very outreach measures. You know, we also have our website that connects with people all over the world. And so with the technology, it is easier to have more of a national, international presence, which has changed since we opened up in 2004 as well.
Right. I don't have to talk a lot about it, but it's important to note because there's been so much discussion about human trafficking. The Freedom Center has been key in talking about this issue in ways that really no other local organization that like the Freedom Center has done. Talk about your involvement in human trafficking issues.
Well, first of all, we have the first and only exhibit that deals with contemporary slavery issues. It's Invisible Slavery Today. So we have that on site to educate people, to inform people as far as what is going on often in our backyards. We also have wonderful programming. We have a good team that puts together a comprehensive awareness about what is going on when it comes to sex trafficking, domestic labor, human trafficking, as well as variety of different issues that are going on today that actually relate to slavery, as well as, genocide and also racism and tyranny.
Right. Tough things to talk about, but clearly important to talk about.
Absolutely, must. Uncomfortable at times,
Right.
but it's a much needed conversation, and awareness is needed for the public.
Yeah. Talk about a few things coming up. I know you have some exhibits coming up that focus primarily on women heroes. Talk a little bit about what's coming up.
Well, March is Women's History Month, and we take a very significant role in celebrating the achievements and contribution of women. So on March 1st, we will actually have Dr. Nikki Taylor, who is the chairperson at Howard University for their history department. She wrote a wonderful book about Margaret Garner, which is a local story, but it's also a national story with great presence. And so she will be speaking part of our Freedom Lecture Series on March 1st. It's a wonderful time to come out. For more information, you can always go to freedomcenter.org to get information about that. But we also, on March 10th, we will have Olympic gold medalist Mary Weinberg, who will actually be talking about her book, which is Unwavering Perseverance. And you will have the opportunity to purchase her book and get it signed. And then on March 15th, we will have Our Four Mothers, Nevertheless She Persisted, which is it's a history show, almost in a fashion show format, but we will celebrate and illuminate lesser known women who were trailblazers in providing the liberties that we enjoy today and who have made a wonderful contribution and achievements to our country.
Wow, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I look forward to, especially the Margaret Gardner piece coming up, so I look forward to seeing that.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, we're going to take a break and we will be right back. Stay with us.
WLWT celebrates Cincinnati's Black History Month legends.
Theodore M. Berry, born on November 5, 1905 in Mayville, Kentucky, known as Ted Berry, he gained national reputation as a leader in the civil rights movement. In 1947, he began his political career and was elected Cincinnati vice mayor. President Johnson appointed Ted Berry Economic Opportunities Community Action Program in 1965. Ted Berry was elected Cincinnati's first African-American mayor in 1972.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Curtis Fuller. Here with me now, we're going to talk to a couple of representatives from Northern Kentucky University about an event coming up on March 6th. March 6th. And here to talk a little bit more about that, John Schlipp, who is the Associate Professor of Intellectual Property, librarian, and also Jill Liebisch, who is a graduate Library Information Specialist. And first of all, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So coming up on March 6th, it is Exploring Energy, Environment, and Space. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we offer this program 3 times a year. It's part of our after-school special series, predominantly for librarians and school educators. But this year we want to expand that to also include the public, especially the homeschooling parents of children that are homeschooled. So we know that the STEM subject is very popular nowadays and for the future careers of our young students today. And STEM has to do with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics disciplines. So we are offering a workshop to make aware the educators, librarians, and homeschooling parents that there are free resources out there, especially from federal government agencies and other nonprofit organizations that assist educators.
You know, as I think about it, young people, I have a 13-year-old, so I tell her, you have everything at your disposal. But I encourage her to still go to the library because you explore. I mean, you really do, in ways that you can't on the internet. I mean, you probably have these discussions as well.
Oh yeah, we put people in contact with information, and we kind of have tricks up our sleeves that maybe your 13-year-old daughter doesn't quite know about, but as a professional, you know, we're there to get them in touch with these free resources. And we do that for educators and stuff as well, because they have very busy schedules. So we create and coordinate these programs so that they have these professional development opportunities, so that they can continue furthering their education as a lifelong learner, right, and then pass along this information to folks like your 13-year-old daughter.
Wow. Do you find that people are still engaged, even though we have all of this technological?
Well, it's funny you bring that point up. There's 3 groups at Steele Library that are sponsoring this, and one of those are the information literacy librarians who address that area, as well as our Intellectual Property Awareness Center and our Teaching Resource Center. But yes, our information literacy librarians and our reference librarians constantly promote this to make our students more aware of the scholarly resources, the factual resources that they need for their research.
Wow. You know, we had the Freedom Center on right before you, and what I find is that's real hands-on when you go and walk through it, and the same, I would imagine, is what you're discussing as well.
Correct.
Encouraging people to connect in real ways. So let's talk about what's going to happen March 6th and how people can be a part of this.
So on March 6th, it's a 2-hour workshop, and it'll start at 4 p.m. so folks can, especially if they're educators or librarians, they may be off work by that time, but they can make it in, and it's at Steele Library at Northern Kentucky University. But we're going to have 6 presenters, and they'll be able to choose sort of their focus. So some people will be geared towards middle school, you know, subjects, and then high school subjects, and they'll be able to choose the presentations that they would like to see in sort of a breakout format.
And as I look over some of the topics, maybe go through some of these topics, which are very interesting.
Well, we have, as Jill mentioned before, both levels as far as the primary school level as well as the junior high and high school level. And these are experts, some from Northern Kentucky University and some from the community that are contributing to this. And we have, for example, an environmental education specialist, one of the public library librarians who's going to be presenting about that topic, about environmental education for the primary level. Then we have one of our representatives from the Center for Integrated Natural Science and Mathematics Center at NKU. They will talk about everything from natural science to space for the primary level as well. Then we have one of our physics instructors who will be there to talk about more advanced physics applications. They call it the understanding the space-time vortex in relation to the gravity probe B experiment, which actually verified the Einstein's relativity theory. So for the physics students at the high school level, things of that nature. We'll even have a representative from the National Institutes Forum Institute at the Kettering Institute up in Dayton, at the Kettering Foundation, and they will be talking about deliberation in the classroom for discussion, actual factual discussion where students will learn how to research, discuss, and talk about topics such as energy, environment, and other areas in the hard sciences.
And STEM has helped get students back connected to these, what really are basic areas, basic curriculum, but the way they learn it, I think, and that's part of what this conference will be about.
Exactly. These will be engaging resources and tools that are available for free that educators can utilize for the classroom.
Wow. Okay. How can someone find out more information? Should they call or?
We actually have John here as our contact. So John's phone number is 572-5723.
And that's the Northern Kentucky area code 859. as well as they can go to the IPAC website, which is ipac.nku.edu.
Oh, okay. Wow. March 6th.
Yes.
Can I attend?
Yes, it's for the public as well. It's always been open for the public, but this
Okay.
time intentionally, because of the science and technology theme, we wanted to make certain that parents were aware of this as well.
And I should have asked, is there a cost to this?
This is free,
Oh,
which is nice.
that's very nice.
Many of the NKU outreach programs are free, yes.
Okay, that sounds great. Look forward to it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take another break and then we'll be right back. Thank you.
WLWT celebrates Cincinnati's Black History Month legends.
Fred Shuttlesworth was a U.S. civil rights activist. He helped organize the march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. Along with Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Shuttlesworth was one of the top leaders of the civil rights movement. He also was co-founder and served as the 5th president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport was named in honor of Reverend Shuttlesworth.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Curtis Fuller. Here with me now is, she has become a friend, but sadly, the way our friendship developed is not one that either one of us would have wanted. But her name is Serena Knight. She's been on the program before. She is the parent of a young man who was murdered 2 years ago. We were saying it's hard to believe that it was back in March of 2016.
Yes.
Jalen. So first of all, how are you doing?
I'm surviving.
Yeah, yeah. As, you know, we've talked, and this is an unsolved crime, and that's what I mean. It's difficult that it happened, but it's even more difficult that it remains unsolved.
Yes.
But you have pressed on, and so I will tell people that this happened in March 10th, March 11th?
March 11th, 2016.
In Hamilton.
Yes.
Case remains unsolved.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about Jalen so people know. He was getting ready to graduate from high school.
Yes. Jalen was 18 years, 3 months, and 8 days when he passed. 1838 is the number you always see. Jalen was the smile, the sunshine for everyone. And a lot of people speak positively on their children, but he actually showed it, not just to his family, but to his friends and to the community. And so he was getting ready to graduate and start a new chapter of his life before his flame was burned out. He was tragically murdered in Hamilton, and as you stated, the case is still unsolved. Yes, we've had a lot of conversations, but no actual leads that we can go ahead and say, these are the people responsible. And so what's scary to me is that that person or those persons are still out there. And not only am I affected, my friends and family and those who care, or even people that don't even know him are affected, but there's other people that are potentially could be at harm. And so not just for me, I'm asking for justice for just the society as a whole, because I don't want to see another mother or another family go through what I'm going through.
Yeah, and you know, the reality of this, it just happens. I mean,
Yes.
if I remember correctly, it was, I know it was going into the weekend, so it might have been a Friday. Was it a Friday?
Friday morning.
Wow.
You go to sleep, your son's in bed, you wake up, your son's gone.
Your son, yeah. As I said, you have pressed on, and we'll give the number to Hamilton PD, but you've pressed on, you've had events, I know you've given out scholarships, so you've tried to take this negative and turn it into a positive.
Absolutely.
And you have an event coming up.
Yes, I do. So March 11th is going to be our second annual March Madness. It's our memorial basketball tournament. And the reason I chose basketball is because that was something that Jalen enjoyed doing. I'm not going to say he was a Michael Jordan in basketball, but he definitely was a good basketball player, and it was something to keep him and his friends safe and off the streets. So it was a good event. It was family fun, and so I'm using the day that's most horrific for me, the day of his murder, March 11th, and doing something to bring joyness and smiles to everyone. So this year we'll be at the Woodlawn Recreation Center. The time is from 2 to 6. It's free admission. We will have 5-on-5 teams, and they can register by going to justusforjalen1838@yahoo.com. We also are going to have a youth 3-point shot. We'll have a concession stand. DJ Ebo is going to be DJing. We're going to have cheerleaders. We have dancers coming to perform during the halftime show. So it's something for everyone that can get out for what I call a night of unity. And this is just one of the events that we're going to do. But this particular event is going to be at Woodlawn Rec Center. So I'm very excited. They were willing to work with me. Papa John's is helping. We'll have pizza with Papa John's. White Castle's, the one on what is it called? It's North Bend Road. Kim there, they've done Nights of Unity there. And then I also have Apex Awards that are helping, sponsoring, doing the design for the t-shirts, the medals, the trophies. And this year we're trying to do the first place winners. Each of the 5 people are going to get a $100 gift card.
Oh,
so
my.
The winning team. So yeah, we're
I'm
still
too
giving
old
back.
to play.
And you can get in. You have 10 minutes to get your points, and you're going down in the tournament bracket, so you have a chance. But the whole point is, let's find a way to celebrate his life. Yes, we're mourning his death, but we need to celebrate his life. And the more people that see him, to hear our Justice for Jalen name, the more people are going to say, you know what, she's not going to stop. I'm going to give you an answer. And I have a card here, and it has Jalen and Markel. These are my 2 sons. Markel is not my biological, but he was raised with me. And it's Justice for Jalen. I have Crime Stopper number because both cases are unsolved. It's 1-800-352-3040. And I also have Miss Hope Dudley.
Yes,
You Can
yes.
Speak With Me. I've been partnering with her. She has been amazing to help. She will have some more of her playing cards, because it's not just me. Again, it's other families that are affected. And so I'm trying to use this platform to not just solve my case. Her case is still unsolved for her son, Chaz.
Oh, I know.
There's other families within Cincinnati.
We did a long piece on her a couple of months ago, and the fact that it's been, I think, 10 years now.
Yes.
Give this number one more time before we get away. We have to go.
Crime Stoppers is 1-888-352-3040, or you can call the Hamilton Police Department.
Okay. We'll take a break. I'll try to get that number in one more time once we get there. Good seeing you.
Thank you.
All right. Before we get away, I want to give you the date and time again for the event in honor of Jalen Knight. It is March 11th from 2 to 6 at the Woodlawn Rec Center. I'm Curtis Fuller. Have a nice day.